Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, let me thank Chairman Skelton and Ranking Member Hunter for their work on this bill and also for their devotion to the men and women of our armed forces. Thank you very much. On behalf of my dad, retired Lieutenant Colonel, recently deceased, Garvin Tutt. Thank you, Mr. Skelton. Thank you, Mr. Hunter. I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record a statement in support of my amendment by Mr. Berman, Chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee.
So ordered.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, my amendment is simple and is straightforward. It provides that no provision contained in any Status of Forces Agreement, or SOFA, negotiated between the President and the government of Iraq, which commits the United States to the defense and security of Iraq from internal and external threats, is valid unless this agreement has been authorized and approved by Congress. This may sound complicated, but it really is not. The issue is really simple. Should the President Bush, this President, or any President be allowed to obligate our troops to a long-term commitment to spend resources and provide troops to defend Iraq against its enemies, internal or external, without congressional review? The long-standing answer and constitutional answer to this question is no. So, Mr. Chairman, this amendment should not be controversial. And why is it needed? Because in November 2007, President Bush and Iraqi Prime Minister Mr. Maliki signed the Declaration of Principles for Friendship and Cooperation, which included an unprecedented commitment to defend Iraq against internal and external threats. Frankly, this is not only unprecedented, but it is really insulting when one considers that the agreement does require the review and approval of the Iraqi parliament, but not our own Congress. That doesn't make any sense. If prior review and approval is good enough for the Iraqi parliament, it is good enough for the United States Congress. In fact, it is essential for the United States Congress to give their approval. I want to take a moment to address the position of the administration and some of my Republican colleagues who would argue that the agreement is nothing more than a garden variety. Status of Forces Agreement, for the most part, don't require congressional involvement or approval. But the reality is that the declaration, this Declaration of Principles goes far beyond what is typically covered in the Status of Forces Agreements, or SOFA. The reality is that routine SOFAs do not include any guarantee to defend a host country against external or internal threats. That just has not been part of prior SOFA agreements. I cannot underscore just how serious this commitment is. An agreement of this kind to commit American troops to the defense and security of another country is not routine or typical or minor. It is a major commitment that must have the support of the American people, and that popular support will only be reflected through the Congress of the United States, the People's House. Mr. Chairman, if a decision is made about keeping troops in Iraq indefinitely, then it is the Congress that should have a say. My amendment does that. I want to be clear, though, that this amendment is not about redeploying our troops from Iraq, a position that I strongly support, nor is it about timelines or reconstruction or oil or the various other debates raging around our occupation of Iraq. We can't undo the suffering, the death, the horrible injuries, the deep psychological scars, or the millions of lives that are forever altered. And we can't erase the misrepresentation made, the mistakes made, or the damage done. But we can, however, prevent future mistakes. And it would be a disastrous mistake to let the current declaration move forward without congressional debate and approval. So this amendment is about the future. Do we want the next president and Congress to inherit a situation where our troops are committed to fight Iraqi civil wars and any entity the Iraqis deem a threat? Do we really want that? Do we want to do that without even having debated it or allowing congressional review? Do we really want that? This is about standing up for Congress and the Constitution. Again, this amendment is responsible, practical, and necessary. And for these reasons, I urge all of my members to support my amendment, and I reserve the balance of my time.